Assalamu alaikum. Today we begin Ma Ja'a fi Sihr, the chapter that begins about magic. And then the next chapter following it are the different types of magic. So this chapter is more, you can say, theoretical, if you would believe that there's a theory of magic, because I want to start outright by telling you that the meaning of the word sihr, يلبس الحق بالباطل وباطل بالحق, in the oldest extant dictionary that we have, Miqayis ibn Faris, he tells you right away that the meaning of sihr is to make something appear true when in fact it is false, or make something appear false when in fact it is true. So we can interpret this to be all kinds of imaginary, incorrect thinking, as well as the typical sleight of hand and something imperceptibly, unusually, shall we say, wrong? Yes. Now, this is an all-encompassing topic, and I begin with the linguistic because being American, we never really believed in magic, so to speak. Well, I never did, but magic shows were all over as I was a child, and they were on TV, they were at birthday parties, they were everywhere, and I always hated it and thought it was so stupid. This sleight of hand tricks that all my uncles would try to do with my brothers, and don't remind me. Let's just get right into what the book of Tawhid says, and in this particular bab, it's going to be shorter because it doesn't really deal with the hadith and textual evidence except a couple of verses. So inshallah we can get this done in half an hour and then go on to the next bab, which is different ways of making magic, shall we say. As-sihr al-lugha, what does it mean linguistically? Ma yakhfa wal-lutf sababu. What is hidden and what is very imperceptible for its reason. وَمِنُّ سُمِيَ السَّحْرَ الْأُخْرَى اللَّيْلِ. And now he's saying this is why, الْآخِرَ اللَّيْلِ, this is why they call the آخِرَ اللَّيْلِ Suhur. You know, when we have Ramadan, same root letters. لِأَنَّ الْأَفْعَالِ الَّتِي تُقَعَ فِيهِ تَكُونُ خَفِيَّةً. Because what happens at that time of the late night, or you can say entering into the early part of the day, is something khafiyah. It's like hidden. وَكَذَلِكَ سُمِي السُّهُورِ, and he's telling you that's why we call it suhoor when we eat at that time in Ramadan. لِمَا يُعَقَّلْ فِي آخِرِ اللَّيْلِ لِأَنَّهُ يَكُونُ خَفِيًّا. Because it's light. The meal is light. Should be. فَكُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَفَّفَ سَبَبُ يُسَمِّى سِحْر. So everything that you're waiting for a reason is khafi, it's hiding. وَأَمَّا فِي شَرْعَ, according to the Islamic شرع, فَإِنَّهُ يَنْقَسِمْ إِلَى قِسْمَيْنِ. We divide it into two parts. الأول عقدة والرقية، أي قراءات وطلاسم يتوصل بها الساحر إلى استخدام الشيطان فيما يريد به الضرر المسحور. Okay, he's saying this as though it's relevant, but let's just say he's talking about when you make a ruqya, you make an incantation, or you make some readings from Quran, or you use some sort of a metal or string or whatever, so that you can use it, the sahir, the magician, will use it in order to use the shaitan however he wishes, and then harm people, harm the mashur. لكن قد قال الله تعالى, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله. So this is the most, you can say, well-known verse. No one can harm anyone by this except if Allah permits. Now, why would Allah permit this? Because it's punishment. If you believe in any power other than Allah, Allah will torture you with it to teach you a lesson, destroy you perhaps, to prove. If you're afraid of humans, give up. Do what Allah has told you. This is in the book. I'm telling you what I know. Use your ma'udhatan. Use your surah, the two surahs, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. It's a protection for you. The Sunnah has explained this to you. But no, the Muslims, who should know this better than anyone else, they don't believe in it. I don't think they really believe in it. And the rest of the world doesn't even know it. And this is my mission that I've adopted. I have to have this known because it works. It's the words of Allah. You think it's not going to work? That's why they hate the Sunnah. Because to propagate this, like a missionary, when you propagate something, you believe it deeply and you go forward with it in spite of all enemies. That's what I want to do. You know, it's funny. I tell you, I come from a long line of Catholic propagandists. That where we get that word. That propagated Trinity. No, there's no Trinity. Kul huwa Allahu ahad. I have to keep interjecting now because most of this needs my interjections. Because, never mind, you'll find out later. الثاني, number 2, أدوية والأقاقير تؤثر على بدن المسحور وعقله وإرادته وميله. Now, here we're getting into some very deep issues. He's speaking about medicines, pharmaceutical medicines, أدوية وأقاقير تؤثر على بدن المسحور, which affect the body of the one who is, you can say, affected by some form of sihr. It affects his body, wa aqlu, his mind, wa iradatihi, wa maylihi, and his wants. In other words, iradatihi, his will, what he wants, and maylihi, and what he prefers. It's going to affect all of this. فَتَجِدُ بِنُصَرِّفْ وَيُمَيِّلْ. And this is done by causing him to want it or to be averse from it, to go towards it or to be away from it. وَهُوَ مَا يُسَمِّي عِنْدَهُمْ بِصَرْفْ وَالْعَطْفْ. This means sarf, atf, things which are affecting your emotions to be occurring within you. This is a very interesting chapter, especially if you're someone like me who never believed in it, and no matter how much they wanted to convince me to believe in it, in Egypt. Why would Allah do something like that if it's not to teach you a lesson? He's not having something occur without giving you a big wake-up call that He is Allah, and there is no other power but Him. فيجعلون الإنسان ينعطف على زوجته أو امرأته أخرى. Now here we go. See, this is where it gets muddy waters. He's saying that this can be used to turn a man from his wife or a woman from her husband. حتى يكون كالبهيمة تقوده كما تشاء, until he becomes like an animal and she can control him as she wishes. وَالصَّرْفْ بِالْعَكْس, or the otherwise, to turn him away. This is getting very, very, it bothers me even to read this, because in Egypt, everything is blamed on this. Bear with me. I'm going to bear out everything I say with the words of Allah and His Prophet Muhammad. فَيُثَرَ فِي بَدَنِ الْمَسْحُورِ, and it will occur in the body of the mas'hur, the one who is affected by magic. It will occur in his body, بِإِضَافَ شَيْئًا فَشَيْئًا حَتَّى يُهْلَكَ. See? It will occur in his body bit by bit until he is destroyed. What? What? Allah says, Huwa yuhyi wa yumit. Allah says He's the one that brings life and death, not this magic. And then, hatta, until he's yuhlik, that means he's dead. And they believe in that. This is what we call psychosomatic illness. I don't like to use medical terms, but you're convincing yourself you're possessed by demons, and therefore you become a nervous wreck, and you can't eat, and you cry constantly, and you feel you might as well be dead. وفي تصوره, and in his imagination, بأن يتخيل أشياء على خلاف ما هي عليه. Okay, good. Here's a good sentence. To the point where he's imagining things that are not true. وفي عقله, and in his mind, فربما يوصل إلى الجنون وعياذ بالله, until he is driven crazy. فالسحر قسمان. The first type, الشرك, وهو الأول الذي يكون بواسطة الشيطان. Good. Now we're getting into something more reasonable. The first type of sihr is that he has shirk. He believes in powers other than Allah. And this is from satanic whisperings. That's what it's saying right here. يعبدهم ويتقرب إليهم ليسلطهم على مسحور. So he ends up under the influence of these people, and he becomes mas'hur. It means affected by sihr. Number 2, al-adwan, enmity. Adwan, it's something very bad. وهو الثاني الذي يكون بواسطة الأدوية, comes from medicine, والأقاقير, and pharmaceutical potions, and the like. وبهذا تقسيم الذي ذكرناها نتوصل به إلى مسألة مهمة. He said through this subject of medicine, we get into a very important point. وهي هل يكفر الساحر أو لا يكفر? Shall we call a magician a disbeliever or not? They still can't get over this. There's a big controversy right now about this on the internet. 2025, yes. Major da'i, yes. All right. اختلف في هذا الأهل العلم. Now he's telling us that the people of knowledge disagree in this. فمنهم من قال إنه يكفر. Yes, he certainly is a kafir. منهم من قال إنه لا يكفر. Take your pick. Yes, he is. Or no, he isn't. Next page. لكن التقسيم السابق, what we previously had told you, الذي ذكرناها يتبين منه حكم هذا المسألة. We can clarify the judgment on this question. فمن كان سحر بواسطة الشيطان فإنه يكفر لأنه لا يتأتى ذلك إلا بالشرك غالبا. So if he's using the methodology of Satan, or he's following whatever he's been told or taught, بواسطة الشياطين, and he's worshiping Satan, then he yakfur. Why? Because he has been doing this, the wasita to shirk. He believes in other powers other than Allah. لقوله تعالى, and now he gives a Quranic verse. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واتبعوا ما يتلو الشياطين على ملك سليمان وما كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفر يعلمون الناس السحر وما أنزل على ملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر. And then, continuing, وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق. Okay, now you can find all of this in Surah Al-Baqarah, and this is the famous verse where they're talking about Harut and Marut and two angels. Everyone knows this, and if you don't, then you can just look it up. Verse 102 in Surah Al-Baqarah. وَمَنْ كَانَ سَحْرُ بِالْأَدْوِيَةِ, regarding the medicine, وَالْأَعْقَاقِيرِ وَنَهُهَا, and other than that, فَلَا يَكْفُرْ ولكن يعتبر عاصية متعدية. Sometimes I think the shuyukh need to be educated, because even now in America, 2025, we have RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., who is the son of the assassinated RFK, Robert Kennedy, who was assassinated by a so-called Palestinian named Sirhan, who's still in prison, by the way. Palestinian. Notice the connection here. Now, this man was the Attorney General because his brother, John F. Kennedy, was president. And he was assassinated because of going after the banksters. Follow me in this briefly. I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking to Americans or not, but they get it. They don't have to be taught. We all grew up in this. What does this have to do with magic? Really nothing, actually, because these men were born and died by the will of Allah, who wrote their birth dates and death dates before they were born. However, when you think about what they went through and all they went through, there were definitely evil forces at work. I'm not saying I don't believe in evil forces. I'm not saying that Satan never sleeps on trying to destroy humanity through tricks and deception and all types of misunderstandings, illusions. Of course he does. It's what he promised he would do. The point is, do you believe? Do you know when I was young, this is going to be a series. When we were kids, teenagers, there was a song. Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? That's all I'm going to say. I won't finish the song. Maybe I will later. These people who make this music industry, totally influenced by Satan. Not just a little bit, a lot. From its beginning, from its inception. And this is why we say, the Salafis, stay away from music, 100%. Don't get near it. Because it's satanic. Now you might say, well, what do you mean it's satanic? What if it has nice words? What if it's romantic and it talks about love and devotion? And it's an illusion. It's not the kind of love and devotion that Allah would like you to have in your marriage. This is going to have to probably be a 3-part series, let alone a 2-part series, because I'm going to digress. And this is why I am so fully aware Maybe it's going to be a 4-part series. I'm going to digress right now with the ongoing scandal called the P. Diddy freakouts that are in America. It has been discovered that a very famous black musician, hip-hop star, has been misbehaving. And in the beginning, it was only that he would ply beautiful young women with drugs and then lock them up and do things and invite his friends and etc. Purely satanic on the face of it, right? Well, it's not surprising for us because here in America, we've been under this, well, not I, but people have been under the spell of what they call rap hip-hop music. And it's taken over the hearts and minds of an entire generation. Because, number one, it's very catchy. You know, I'm sorry, don't. You know me. If you listen to me, you may be offended or you may be downright angry or you. Listen, I don't care, okay? Black people have rhythm. And they have better rhythm than anyone else. They say it's from the days of slavery when they had to use music to have fun after they worked in the fields all day. Or they say it comes from the African rhythm beat that they're born with. Whatever it is, it's Allah's creation. So we have to honor it and say, yeah, they do. Yeah. And when they started participating in organized team sports, they wiped out they weren't allowed when I was young. They weren't allowed to play baseball. They weren't allowed to play basketball. They weren't allowed to play hockey. Everything was white when I was young in the Boston area. The minute they were allowed, they wipe everyone off the arena of wherever they were, whatever ball field, whatever track and field, because they're very strong. I'm no racist. I'm just telling you. So, of course, if that's Allah's creation, we know they're stronger than white men. Absolutely 100%. There's no doubt about this. Stronger teeth, stronger skin, stronger hair, bigger muscles. Are you getting upset? I hope so, because this theme is going to be involved in this whole subject of magic because, yeah, I'm going to do part 2, but P. Diddy is now exposed, along with all his friends, of practicing voodoo. And just a couple of days ago, this is just so thank you, Allah. You know, Allah always has your back when he knows what you're doing is pleasing to him. So he will funnel you things that you need, that you never expected. Yesterday, YouTube says, has anyone seen the huge tattoo on P. Diddy's back? It covers his whole back. It's voodoo. So then they send us the photograph of him sitting by the edge of a pool. Somebody photoed it. He doesn't care. They're all covered with tattoos now. Everyone's covered with tattoos now, which is a very dangerous signal that our society is crumbling. And the tattoo is, I'm going to find a way of putting it on here. Inshallah, I don't know how to do this stuff, but I'll ask someone. The entire back of P. Diddy is filled with a tattoo of a beautiful woman. She looks religious. She's almost like an icon of Greek Orthodox or something, but she's black, and she's a voodoo priestess that has been long known to be in Haiti, where she was born like a couple hundred years ago. And the women worship her because she is a protector of the weak. She is an avenger of cruel men. So her whole reason to exist is to protect battered women. Now, this is how they're bringing it into our current times, against their aggressive, most likely boyfriends and husbands, and weak children. So she's more or less a corollary to how some people pray to the Virgin Mary, you know, in the Latino countries, and Catholics. Yes, all of the Catholic women would pray to the Blessed Virgin Mother Mary. And I remember my mom calling out, oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, and all the saints in heaven, help me. And dear Mother Mary, you know what it's like. You're a mother. You know what I'm going through with these 5 crazy Irish sons that she had. My brothers were so wild. Okay, you see, when you live through experiences, you actually live through them. You understand what's going on. If my mom had Tawheed and she turned to her Quran and prayed 5 daily prayers and read it, she would have been better off. But you see, all these different other powers that are called upon is Sihr. So that's why this book tells you it is a form of Shirk. I'm going to cut this one so I can do part 2 so that you can be more following along with this amazing book of Tawheed. The more you know it, the more you know why they're afraid of it. Assalamu alaikum.